In the 1970s, Charles Scudder was an associate professor of pharmacology at Loyola University in Chicago. By 1976, Scudder was worn down from teaching, and around this time, he ended up receiving a modest inheritance after his mother passed away. In light of this new financial surplus, he and his partner, Joseph Odom, left. He sold almost everything that he owned and found where his new home would be in the foothills of the North Georgia mountains. Enamored with its beauty, he bought 40 acres in Chautauqua County. It was on his birthday when he officially resigned from the university, and he, Odom, and their 2 mastiffs headed for Georgia. They moved to the property in Chautauqua County in January. They built their home by hand with medieval techniques, and by the summer, the first floor was livable. Above the main entrance was a pink gargoyle. Scudder also installed stained glass windows, one featuring a skull and another featuring a Baphomet. His home would then be named Corpsewood Manor. In the late 1970s, the Church of Satan had amassed a small following of people. These members would rally around their atheistic beliefs. Records indicate that Scudder was indeed an official member, and his home, Corpsewood Manor, would be full of that symbology. Rumors began about the 2 men in the castle on the ridge. They started as 2 hippies who drove the black Jeep with the pentagram on the side. Those rumors then evolved into something much darker. Curious town people would come to the entrance and be met with a wooden sign that said, "Beware of the Thing." This started the stories that a demon guarded their home. Others claimed that they saw robed figures holding seances in the woods. With satanic panic and homophobia growing across the country, Chautauqua County became another source for both. Those who actually visited the couples reported that they were nice, inviting, and had great food and music. The after-dinner activity sparked the most gossip. Next to the manor, the 2 men had also built a 3-story wooden structure. It housed their chickens, extra storage, and the 3rd story was called the Pink Room. It was known as a personal chamber for those who wanted to go. In 1972, 17-year-old Avery Brock would find his way onto the property. Brock was an avid hunter and would eventually get permission to hunt on the land. He quickly became friends with Scudder and Odom. This also led to him joining them in the Pink Room sometimes. After several visits, Brock would tell his friend and roommate Tony West about the men. And according to the story, this is where both Brock and West came to the conclusion that Corpsewood Manor had some riches to hide. They devised a plan to get the alleged riches. On December 12, 1982, Brock and West invited 2 of Brock's teenage friends to come with them to the Pink Room. When they climbed the ladder, only Scudder was there. After several minutes of conversation, Brock left to go get a rifle from the car that he came in. In courtroom testimony, witnesses said that Scudder laughed at the sight of Brock returning with a gun. Brock then attacked, asking for cash that they had hidden away. Scudder replied that they did not keep cash at the manor. Brock then threatened to find Scudder's partner, Odom, in which he did, and he fired a barrage of shots at Odom and their 2 mastiffs, taking their lives. West then went to the Pink Room and forced Scudder and the 2 teenagers into the manor. Lost in grief, Scudder would pull away and then meet the same fate as his fallen partner. Brock and West found no cash and were only able to take a few small items and a golden harp. They loaded Scudder's Jeep and told the teenagers that they better not say anything or else. Brock and West drove all the way to Vicksburg, Mississippi. They took 26-year-old Kirby Phelps' Toyota. Phelps, a Navy lieutenant and a recent graduate of Georgia Tech, would be led to a grove of trees. West would be responsible for making sure that he never left those trees. 4 days had passed before anybody knew that something had gone wrong at Corpsewood. A friend of Scudder and Odom would stop by, see the crime scene, and race to the police. Deputies from the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office would find a horrific and grisly scene. And shortly, the manor filled up with local and federal agencies. They described a crime scene full of satanic statues, paintings, whips, chains, a woman's wig, explicit material, acid, and human skulls. Newspapers said that Scudder potentially swiped the acid and the skulls from the university. The Atlanta Constitution reported this story, and then it went national. Brock started hitchhiking back home after he had a falling out with West in Texas. Police in Louisiana found Scudder's Jeep. One of the teenage witnesses would tell police what happened, and arrest warrants were set out for Brock and West. Brock was arrested in Marietta, Georgia after calling his mom and her telling him about his warrant. He went inside a gas station, told an attendant what he did, and police swarmed the area. West made it all the way to Missouri before he turned around to head to Chattanooga. He stopped at a highway lounge and told an officer about his crimes. The Atlanta Constitution continued to report on this story. However, their hyper-focus was on the lives of Scudder and Odom rather than the crimes of Brock and West. By February of 1983, the legal proceedings were underway. Brock admitted his role and was given 3 consecutive life terms. West, on the other hand, pleaded innocent and claimed that what he did was an act of revenge. His reasoning was because of embarrassment that stemmed from an alleged explicit encounter between Scudder and Brock. West also went to say that the crimes are due to hallucinations caused by laced drinks, which forensics found no evidence of. His attorneys also said that Scudder bewitched West, and that he had seen Scudder's golden harp pulsate with an evil glow while he was playing it, and that Scudder's golden harp was pulsating with an evil glow while he was playing it. After several days of testimony, the jury ruled guilty on all counts. Hearing that his ruling would cost him his life as well, he was given a life sentence in exchange for pleading guilty. Today, the property is privately owned, but people still make visits to the site. Months after this terrible incident, someone would come to the property and torch everything. Souvenir hunters would also take the pink gargoyle and anything of value that they could find. Brock and West still remain behind bars with their motives never truly understood. Some say that it was motivated by money. Others say that it was motivated by the lifestyle that Scudder and Odom lived. All in all, it's still pretty unclear. And maybe some of that residual energy has stayed on this property. People, when visiting, have reported hearing phantom dogs barking, the sound of phantom shots, and the phantom sounds of a harp playing. Whether or not any of that is true, this is still a story that spiraled into tragedy. One that truly did not have to.